Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're not exactly unpacking sources in the usual way. Instead, we want to tell you a story. It's a particularly unsettling one we came across, deep in the corners of the internet. A story that really blurs the line between what might be real and what's just. Meticulously crafted fiction. Honestly, it's the kind of thing that sticks with you, makes you second-guess things. We're going to talk about Fake Documentary Q. It's a Japanese YouTube channel that I think has just absolutely mastered the horror mockumentary. Now, if you're not familiar, a mockumentary is basically like a fake documentary. It's presented like it's real, often using found footage or, that investigative style. It creates this weirdly authentic feeling. And Fake Documentary Q, or FDQ, leans right into that hard. They use it to really muddy the waters between fact and fiction, creating this genuine sense of dread without cheap jump scares. And the quality is just remarkable, especially since it's all free on YouTube, with really good English subtitles too. If you're into that kind of genre-bending horror, it's a goldmine, really. It's an anthology channel, so there are, over 20 videos now? Standalone stories. Some are short, like 7 minutes, others nearly 40. You can just jump in anywhere.
Yeah, and that accessibility is key, I think. Like you said, the channel has around 330,000 subscribers, but the view counts on some videos are way higher. What's interesting, though, is even with that reach, the main fan base seems to be in Japan. There's surprisingly little analysis or coverage in English, which is a shame, because these little stories are they're ripe for digging into. So many theories floating around about how they might connect, not just the individual mysteries, it really shows their skill, tapping into that specific kind of psychological chill.
Okay, so to give you a real feel for how FDQ works, let's look at the very first video they uploaded. Back in August 2021. It's called Cursed Video. Runs just over 18 minutes. And it's a perfect introduction to their whole vibe. So the story starts with these two guys, TV documentarians, a director and his cameraman. They're looking into a viewer tip, basically, about this weird rumor. Apparently, there was this videotape going around online, maybe between 2005 and 2009, something like that. And the rumor was sinister. Watch the tape, and you die. Classic urban legend setup, right? Familiar, but immediately puts you on edge. So their investigation starts. They track down this video store mentioned in an old online post, supposedly where you could get the tape. When they get there, the place is clearly shutting down. Mostly empty, boxes everywhere, just got that, abandoned feel. They can't find the tape themselves, so they ask the clerk. And the clerk, he has no idea what they're talking about. He even jokes, are you looking for the ring? So that seems like a dead end. But they ask to talk to the manager. And this is where it gets interesting. The manager actually says, yeah, I know the tape. Takes him about half an hour digging through piles of stuff, but he finds it. And the cover is just instantly creepy. There's this stark warning right on it, basically saying, yeah, this tape will kill you, just like the rumors. So the director asks him, is it true? Is the curse real? And the manager just smiles, this really unsettling smile, and says, there's only one way to find out. It's just so creepy. All suggestion, no actual horror shown.
That scene really struck me too. It's exactly how FDQ works. It builds this atmosphere of unease without needing loud bangs or gore. It's the manager's smile, the rundown store, that blunt warning. It all just adds up to this feeling of dread, but subtly. It's very characteristic of their stuff. Really leans into the psychological side, the implied threat.
Right. So they get the tape, and you're watching, thinking, okay, here comes the scary stuff, the cursed images. But surprisingly, the video itself is, it's not really curse-looking at all. Most of it is just pleasant footage. Looks like a couple, maybe on vacation, just enjoying themselves. The spooky bits are actually really mundane. Just these abrupt cuts to portraits, photos of people who look like they've passed away, the kind. Like you'd see at a memorial or an altar. Not gruesome, just jarring, out of place in the happy footage. Just breaks the pattern. And then the manager gives this explanation that sounds, totally reasonable. He says the tape wasn't popular at first, but then middle schoolers started renting it because of the rumors. He claims originally there was only one portrait edited in, spliced into the footage, but over time, more appeared. Eventually there were 4 in total, and his theory. The kids did it. Added the photos themselves when they rented it, just for kicks. Or maybe to, build up the urban legend.
A logical, almost boring explanation for something weird.
Exactly. So, armed with this, the documentarians head back to their car. They basically conclude, okay, it was just all a hoax, case closed, rational explanation found. And as a viewer, you might feel a bit relieved too, okay, mystery solved.
It's that right there that raises such an interesting point, doesn't it? How readily we accept a simple, logical answer, even when something feels off. We want things to make sense. FDQ knows this. They use that tendency. They give you this seemingly solid explanation, make you feel secure.
Yeah.
Only to pull the rug out completely moments later.
Yeah.
Which is way more unsettling than just showing you a monster. It plays with your sense of certainty.
And that's exactly what happens. Just when you think it's over, the narrator comes back in and explains that the documentary segment we just saw, it never aired on TV. Yeah. And get this, it wasn't even a real documentary. It was a completely fabricated mockumentary. Suddenly, all these layers start peeling back, and that uneasy feeling just ramps up. Okay, so if it was fake, why didn't it air? And the reason they give is just chilling, delivered so calmly. A few days before it was supposed to be released, the director, the guy we saw, he died in a car accident. And the cameraman died of heart failure, despite being, only in his 30s.
2 sudden, tragic deaths, connected to this supposedly fake project about a cursed tape. Now, to really get the full impact, we need to rewind slightly, before the deaths. The revelations keep coming. We see footage again from the video store, the director asking to rent the tape. But this time, the manager says no, he won't rent it, but he'll sell it, which the director agrees to. He buys the tape. Then the narrator tells us that this actual VHS tape, plus all the mockumentary footage, was locked away in the production company's storage. Until now. And crucially, it's still unclear if the mockumentary team made the cursed tape themselves as a prop, or if they found something else. Then we finally see it. The actual contents of the tape recovered from storage, raw, unedited.
And this is where FDQ just excels. Creating that deep, lingering ambiguity, that sense of profound unease. By dropping in these external, unexplained tragedies, they completely shatter any simple reading of the story. You're left questioning absolutely everything. Was it coincidence? Or did the fiction somehow bleed into reality, affect the creators? It's brilliant storytelling because it refuses easy answers. It leaves you stuck in this uncertainty, not knowing what's real or what to believe. And that's terrifying in its own way. Much more than a simple scare.
And then comes the final twist, the ultimate unanswered question that just makes your head spin. As the recovered tape plays out, we hear audio from the original mockumentary filming, the director and cameraman talking. They point out that the manager told them there were 4 portraits spliced into the video, but when they watched it, they only counted 3.
Oh, right.
Here's the kicker. When we, the audience, watch the tape after it's recovered from storage, after the 2 men have died, the 4th portrait is clearly visible. It wasn't there for them, but it's there now, so. Yeah. Who is that 4th portrait? Doesn't look like the director. Could it be the cameraman? But why just him? Why not both? The implication is just horrible. The tape itself changed after they died. It added one of them to its collection. So what are we left with? This one episode just threw so many questions at you. Deliberately. Designed to mess with you. Did the tape actually kill them? Or was it just a horrific coincidence that perfectly mirrored the fake story they were making? Did the production company make the tape? Did they accidentally unleash something? Were the online rumors even real? Or just part of the mockumentary script? Fabricated screenshots, maybe? And given we know they're unreliable narrators, maybe a script. Can we trust anything we heard? Even a bit about 3 versus 4 portraits?
So it just loops back on itself.
Yeah. It's a total loop of doubt designed to just erode any certainty you might have had. And while Cursed Video is a fantastic starting point, this approach runs through pretty much all of FDQ's work. It's an anthology, but the feeling is consistent. They create this creeping dread in all sorts of scenarios. There's one called The Voice Memos, just old answering machine messages, but listening closely, the static, the tone shifts. It tells this horrifying story without saying anything directly. Or another one, The Hike. Friends find a lost bag belonging to a friend who died. Seems simple. But it becomes this really chilling look at grief and maybe something else lingering. Each story starts mundane but ends up deeply ambiguous. No jump scares needed. They just exploit our need for answers and then deny them, leaving you with that unease.
That deep-seated feeling that just stays with you. And that's why it works so well, I think. It's not horror that startles you, it's horror that sort of seeps in. You see it in the fan community, too. All these theories trying to connect the dots between episodes, trying to find the hidden meaning. People try so hard to piece it together, which almost makes it more unsettling because you realize it just resists easy explanation. It speaks to maybe a modern audience that's a bit tired of the usual scares. This taps into something deeper, more intellectual. The fear of the unknown. The fear that maybe reality isn't quite as solid as we think.
Yeah.
Which is why, the best way to watch this stuff. No distractions, headphones on, lights off. Let that subtle dread just wash over you.
Fake documentary Q really offers something unique, this eerie storytelling that gets under your skin, not with gore or monsters, but just by leaving you with way more questions than answers. That profound unease, it's horror that makes you think, makes you really feel that lingering chill, makes you look at found footage, online clips, maybe a little differently afterwards.
So, thinking about this story, what do you think really happened to that director and cameraman? And what does it maybe say about how we perceive reality? That something so carefully faked can feel so disturbingly, chillingly real. It makes you wonder how easily our own perceptions can be manipulated, right? Even by stories we know aren't true.
Well, we hope you found this story intriguing, maybe a little unsettling. If this kind of thing interests you, definitely check out Fake Documentary Q on YouTube. Explore the stories for yourself. And hey, if you enjoyed hearing about it, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe wherever you're listening. It really helps us keep bringing you these kinds of explorations. Thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you next time.